Thanks for joining the Military Minute. I'm Mike Jennings. When it comes to putting together your plan and actually starting to go out there and doing research after you know the direction that you're heading, one of the things that can really screw this whole process up is this whole thing that they refer to as paralysis of analysis. It's this fear that we're not going to be able to do it right, so I don't do anything at all. And I think the one thing, especially if you're talking about the military to civilian transition process, where one of the things that we talk about in our business when we're dealing with the military veterans themselves is that most veterans go through only one military to civilian transition in their life, and we do this every single day. So there's almost nothing that we haven't heard of or dealt with dozens of times, hundreds of times in some of these cases. And that's part of our learning and part of our expertise. And one of the things that you can get from having a guide to go through this process is that expertise. But if you're going through this process yourself, as a military member, the one thing that you have to appreciate is this is a learning process. This is not something that you are used to doing. And so this is going to be uncomfortable. And this is why, if you've heard me on some other shows, I've said oftentimes military members are much more comfortable with taking that hill than they are with going out and finding that job. Because all of the military training and experience and the work that we have to do prepares us for this job that is very difficult and can be very dangerous at times to do. But when it comes to time to get out, the time that we have to learn how to do the transition for the first time, when we have added so many things to our life that we didn't have when we came in. The pressure that builds on this can be something that, combined with the unknowns, can cause you to just be paralyzed and stop doing anything. So the encouragement on all of this is that understand that you are going to learn through this process. Understand that you don't want to overthink it. The key is to get engaged with what you're doing at whatever level you're doing it in terms of your research. You're going to get information from taking action on this process of doing research on finding the kinds of opportunities that you're looking for and engaging the people who are there, and you're going to find that some things are going to work out right and some things aren't. And certainly the preparation that you can do through this process is going to help you get better at it, but you're going to miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So as you're going through the preparation process and working on your research, and you're looking for companies and opportunities that are now fitting in this area of things that look like they're going to be right to you, don't be afraid to start reaching out to people and expressing interest in what they're doing. And if it proves to be not in the right direction, then make a change on what you're doing. But embrace the learning that comes from this, because here's why. Here's why this is so important, and to understand this in the world that we live in today. Job security in the world that we live in today does not come from a company. We just got done talking about DOGE and the fact that most people, the reason why they like the government jobs is because they think that the government is a perfectly stable place to be employed. And as we see now, sooner or later, when costs get out of control, you have to make cuts. No, your job security comes from you. Your job security is going to come from the abilities and skills that you have developed to be helpful for somebody else, combined with your willingness and the abilities and skills that you develop in getting other people to want you on your team. You know, one of my favorite movies of all time, and kind of became the basis of of the work that I do in this. It comes from the old movie Jerry Maguire from back in 1996, and I've realized that a lot of coming off of active duty is a lot like a professional athlete coming off of their rookie contract, right? So if you're finishing up your enlistment or your initial service obligation as an officer, you kind of have two basic options. One basic option is I can continue to try to work out a new deal with the team that I'm currently playing on, or I can decide I want to go to the market and see if I can find other teams who will hire me, or maybe even go to a different league. And so that's what's going on here is that you're out looking for other teams that you can play on to expand the size of your market. Because if you kind of go back to that movie, or if you follow professional sports, if you look at the athletes who are able to get the big deals, those are the athletes that other teams want to hire to get that player on their team. The guys who are taking league minimum are the guys who only have one team that wants to bring them on board, or maybe two that'll say, okay, I'll give this guy a shot. We'll bring him in at league minimum. So if you're learning the process of how to be helpful to other people, and you're learning this process of going out there and how do I go out to the market when I need to, doing it on my terms, even if maybe you have to deal with the Doge situation, or whether it's a planned situation, either way, when you develop that skill, your job security is going to come from you. And that is going to give you the freedom to be able to not only move when there's outside pressure put on you, either from a situation you don't like or a downside situation, but it's also going to give you the confidence to go out and look whenever you have something that you want to go after but can't get. So hopefully that idea is helpful. Thanks for joining us, and catch us next time.
Thanks for joining the Military Minute. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts so you're notified when a new episode is released. Is there a topic or conversation you want discussed here on the show? Send it to me at scott.cunningham@militaryminute.us.